Welcome to Pondering Passages. Today, Curt and I are going to take a look at Psalm 17. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to embody a prayer, well, you'll get to see that today. So, after the little break, come back and join us in our conversation. Welcome to Pondering Psalms. Today, we're going to take a look at Psalm 17. I'm here with my very good friend,
Curt Austin right here, and my good friend David Mullins.
right over here. It's good to see you, Curt.
I am so glad that we're doing this today.
I have one question for you.
Only one.
Yeah. Did you actually read the psalm this week? Or is it
Yes.
like last week where you just kind of blew it off and then afterwards you're like, oh, I wish I would have read it? Yeah.
No, I read it this week, and verse
Very
4 and
good.
5 is my favorite in the whole thing.
Wow.
I can tell you that. I'm a visual person, so I like the imagery that's used. I like some of the themes that run throughout. I did not read any commentary, so I just allowed that the psalm to speak to me. And so I would say, yeah. And it's not my favorite psalm that we've ever read, but I like what the psalmist has to say to us through these words. How's that?
I'm sure right now he is just celebrating that you
He's
like what he has to say. He's like, finally, Curt Austin.
I think I told you. Did I tell you?
And he looks at the other psalmists all around him and said,
that's right.
In your face.
When my grandmother died, I think I was telling somebody else this. When my grandmother died, I was convinced that she was looking down on me and was very disappointed with decisions I was making, or it was kind of more. I could see that her opinion of me was greater than God's opinion of me at that point in my life, at that age. And it's like this, the psalmist, I'm sure that's all he has to do is just watch who's reading it this week. Kind of thing. That's all he cares about.
But what if he is? So if you read it this week, he's like really excited. Oh, they're reading my psalm. They're reading.
Finally.
I wrote that.
They got to mine.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. You want to?
Yeah. One of the things before we get too far into it, one of the things as you read through this, notice and you mentioned the imagery, a lot of body parts, but not in the slasher kind of movie way. Not that kind.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So now this one's this psalm is a little longer than some of them that we've read. Not as long as others.
We can't dally.
No,
we can't dilly.
And so how are we doing on time? All right. I'll keep an eye on that. So verses 1 through 5 for our listeners. O Lord, hear my plea for justice. Listen to my cry for help. Pay attention to my prayer, for it comes from honest lips. Declare me innocent for those you see, though. Oh, let's try that again. Declare me innocent, for you see those who do right. You have tested my thoughts and examined my heart in the night. You have scrutinized me and found nothing wrong. I am determined not to sin in what I say. I have followed your commands, which keep me from following cruel and evil people. My steps have stayed on your path. I have not wavered from following you. Verses 1 through 5.
Wow. Yeah.
I liked, all of this I think is really, like you had said, the body parts, we've got the feet, we've got the lips, we've got his heart. Later we have a few others that are kind of pointed out there, but this is obviously a cry for help, right? Thus verse 1, listen to my cry for help. But he's kind of is it self-justification? God, you should listen to me because I'm really honest in what I say, what I do. I stay on the path. I do all of the right things. You should listen to me. Don't listen to the people who are evil. Don't listen to people who are not following you.
Well, I think it's in verse 1. He talks about, this is a plea for justice. And, the thing with justice is, you have to be on the right or in the right in order for it to be justice. And he's trying to kind of lay out his case. One translation said, "Oh Lord, listen to my legitimate plea. This is a
Oh,
legitimate
interesting.
plea. Yeah. Yeah. Listen to my cry for help. And one of the things that I read this week that pointed out is, with all the use of the body images, he is embodying this plea.
Mm.
That I don't just think rightly. I am living this way. I'm embodying this plea for justice.
You know, uh, um, even, and I guess to that point, verse 4 and 5, right? I'm not doing these things.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm walking the straight and narrow.
Right.
Right. I mean, and this took me back. When you pray for your congregation on Sunday mornings, you are a light to my path, a guide to my feet.
Mm.
Am I saying that correctly? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, yeah. I talk
Uh,
about the Bob, the Bible. May it be a light to our path, a lamp to our feet. I
Lamp to
will
our feet.
I'll change that depending on what I think at the moment. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
My steps have stayed on your path. I have not wavered from following you. I've not been led astray. I've not gotten off. If you've ever done any hiking, Dave, you and I have done a little bit of hiking. You do more than I do, but when we were on the years ago, when my son and I and some friends went on the Appalachian Trail, it was easy to lose the path.
yeah,
It was easy to get slightly off, or you took a side trail by mistake,
yeah,
and you have to be careful. Well, this guy's
yeah,
saying that doesn't happen to me, right? I'm fixed on the right way.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. My
Any
wife and I
any
were hiking not too
oh,
long ago, and we come to this one clearing, and there was like 6 different paths with no sign telling you which one is the one. And people were heading to the water, and other people are headed. It's like, we want to go back to the parking lot, and there's no there's nothing that tells us which way to go. So it's like, well, I guess we'll just go this way and hope for the best. That's not what this guy's saying. He's not heading randomly hoping for the best. He says, I am following you and not wavering. Yeah, it's a great. If only we could say that with a straight face, that we are
hmm.
doing the same. Yeah.
I also think verse 3 is important to this psalm. It's kind of a setup for what he talks about later. You've tested my thoughts and examined my heart at night.
Mm.
Um, See, Dave, I've read it. I've read the
You
psalm.
did.
I know
You
what
did
you're
read
talking
it. Read it. Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. Well, no. Do you have any thoughts about that verse 3?
Well, what jumps out to me is the last line. I am determined not to sin in what I say. It's not just that it happens because he didn't have an opportunity to do otherwise. He is determined. He has set his face to not sin in what he says. And that's why God was able to test him and scrutinize him and find nothing wrong, because that is his determination.
But and I agree with that. I really like that determination, and I think it's fascinating that the psalmist is starting with thoughts and the condition of his heart,
Mhm.
because those things impact his decision on what not to say, not to sin in what I say. Right? It's
Yeah.
not just a matter of uh, just speaking, but in fact, the very condition of his heart helps determine his ability to hold his tongue.
Yeah.
It's there's a that's a you could spend, again, last week we talked a lot about what you could spend time on each. You could just think about that. Well, if you just think about verse 3 for a week, a month, that becomes your yearly verse, your verse
Yeah.
for the year. Imagine if every night you go to sleep and the condition of your examination of your heart and your thoughts set the tone for everything that happened the next day.
Yeah, and I guess my formative question is, what would God find, or what does God find when he examines my heart and my thoughts?
Let's go ahead and do a second show where we just outline your heart and your thoughts. Let's just it's a tell all, right? It's an
Yeah.
opportunity really to
Well,
dive in.
I I'm not sure we want to put that kind of rating on our show.
You don't think so, huh?
No.
All right. Well, then let's move on. Verses 6 through 12 say, I am praying to you because I know you will answer, O God. Bend down and listen as I pray. Show me your unfailing love in wonderful ways. By your mighty power, you rescue those who seek refuge from their enemies. Guard me as you would guard your own eyes. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. Protect me from the wicked people who attack me, from murderous enemies who surround me. They are without pity. Listen to their boasting. They track me down and surround me, watching for the chance to throw me to the ground. They are like hungry lions, eager to tear me apart, young lions hiding in ambush.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I guess to notice is how he embodies this determination not to follow God's will. These enemies are embodying kind of the exact
Mm.
opposite. He uses his lips, they use their lips to boast. He uses his feet to follow the path that God sends, leads him to. They use their feet to track him down and surround him. And so you kind of see some parallels throughout this psalm, which is really quite, I guess, striking.
I love that. Yeah, would they be parallels or would they be contrasting the use of those?
Sure.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Semantics,
Whatever.
semantics. But I also love in this section we have you will I pray knowing that you will answer. You listen to my prayer. So God's ears are
Yeah.
listening, right?
Yes. Yep.
Um, what was the other? Oh, and verse
His
8, guard
eyes.
me as you would guard your own eyes. There's another kind of, they wonder if it's not, this is just from my footnote in the Bible, that it would be guard the pupil of my eye.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guard
Yeah.
what comes into my, what's the pupil used for? It's where the light enters.
Yeah.
Guard me from that. And then right after that, and I think that makes a lot of sense then when it says, hide me in the shadow of your wings, right? Keep me protected, right? We wear sunglasses or we put a hat with a bill on it or something to protect our eyes from that
Or one of
sun.
those
Hide
hats
me
with
in
the
the
great
shadow.
big round thing all around.
I've got
Some
one of
people
those.
wear
Don't make fun
those.
of that.
I'm just saying some people wear those. Out gardening.
And the other thing too is if you look in verse 6 and you look in verse 10, he's asking God that kind of that contrast as well. Listen to me as I pray versus uh, as opposed to verse 10 where it says listen to their boasting.
Yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
that. Love it.
Yeah.
Anything else on these verses?
I don't think so, other than, you do see the contrast, and I really love the hide me in the shadow of your wings.
Hmm.
It's things are getting too close, too hot. I need some protection. And he
Yeah.
runs to God because he knows that God will answer.
I have read also years ago, I read about that particular verse is the shadow of your wings is puts God in kind of for those people who care, kind of a more of the female role, because that would be
Mm,
a mother hen that would bring her chicks together. This is one, there's also one in the New Testament where, oh, that I could gather you
yeah.
like a mother hen, gathers her chicks. This is very
Yeah.
similar to that. The male species of bird has no interest in that at all. Get out of the nest. Get out of here. Give me some
Yeah.
space. So, all right. So, then we're going on then verses 13 through 15. Arise, O Lord, stand against them and bring them to their knees. Rescue me from the wicked with your sword. By the power of your hand, O Lord, destroy those who look to this world for their reward. But satisfy the hunger of your treasured ones. May their children have plenty, leaving an inheritance for their descendants. Because I'm righteous, I will see you. When I awake, I will see you face to face and be satisfied. How about them apples?
Man. Yeah, that
That's not
last
for those
line.
of you listening. That how about them apples? That's not verse 15. That's
No.
my segment. Would that be great?
You know, if it
Psalm. For,
you if I wrote Psalms, I would end them all that way. How about them apples? When I awake, I
oh
will
my
see you face to
gosh!
face and be satisfied. How about them
How
apples?
about them apples? And I think that's our bumper sticker. We've been looking for a new bumper sticker.
There it
Psalm
is.
pondering psalms. How about them
How about
apples?
them
All
apples?
right, nice.
Yeah, but that last line, "When I awake, I will see you face to face." We have the embodiment, and here it is, face to face, and be satisfied. I love
Yeah,
that.
but
It kind of reflects back to the whole first part, about that
yes,
satisfaction
yes,
in God, and contrasted with verse 14 on how, he's asking, destroy those who look to
yep.
this world for their reward. I'm looking to you for my reward, because when I see you face to face, that will be my satisfaction. I love it.
Again, you can go back and forth. I wish there was a way to have all of this on one slide that people could see. But you've got, lean down and listen to my prayer. But in verse 13, bring them to their knees,
Yeah.
right? You lower them. You lower yourself, God, to hear me. Thank you. Now lower them so that they're humbled in front of you.
Yeah.
Um, Power of your hand. Uh, but you were talking about that satisfy the hunger of your treasures ones. Well, I think he's asking even for more than that. Not just satisfy their hunger, but give them plenty. And more than that,
Yeah.
have enough that there's this inheritance that gets left to them.
Yeah.
It's like he's almost building on top of it. Each line builds more and more. What's the passage? It's where Sodom and Gomorrah, where he's
Oh,
saying, "Hey God, if you could find
Genesis.
50,
Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't that be enough? Okay, I don't want to presume, but if you could find 10, he keeps
Yeah, he
talking
keeps
God
going
to the
down by
point.
5.
Yeah,
How about 45? Well, if
yeah,
I may ask one more time,
yeah, yeah.
I hate to bother you. What about 40?
Yeah,
You
and
wouldn't
this
do
is
it
the
for,
opposite of
5
that.
minutes. Yeah.
This is going the other way. It's like,
Yeah.
Please satisfy their hunger. They're your treasured ones. Oh, could the children have plenty as well? Could we have a little bit more? Oh, could we have enough to leave an
For their
inheritance?
descendants. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and then verse 15, it goes back, earlier we had read that passage about at night, test my thoughts and my heart, check those out. And then in verse 15, when I awake. So at night, this is what's going on. When I awake, I will see you face to face. I think this is a beautiful psalm. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. A little long. I think we could, pare down a few of the verses. I like short and sweet.
I guess we do.
But it's beautiful. It's
It
beautiful.
really is. There's a lot of stuff going on too. He does
Yeah,
a lot of stuff in this psalm. So yeah.
it's great.
So
Great. So, for
thank
those of you
you.
who, yeah, well, yeah, thank you. It's always fun. I was
You're
thinking about
welcome.
actually you and I were talking about this earlier, not related to the psalm, but the importance of getting together with the people that are a part of our lives and praying together, strengthening one
Well,
another.
you were talking about that.
I think it's important. I think this is a reflection of that practice. I think this is. I guess I would challenge anyone who the both of you who listen to this, who watch this video, find somebody and surround yourself with someone that you can do this on a regular basis. I mean, what do we do for 20 minutes? We just talk about the passage.
Yeah.
Nothing. There are no great revelations. There are no. But if you take away one nugget from that conversation that directs you, that is formative in who you are for the next week, man, over time, it could really make a big difference.
Yeah. If you keep collecting the nuggets, you'll have a lot
Yeah.
of nuggets.
See,
And
it's that
it
kind of
causes
stuff
me to
that brings me
think,
back.
it causes me to think of the McDonald's workers that confess to the fact that when you bought 6 pieces of chicken nuggets, sometimes they put in a 7th. And isn't that always a wonderful thing when you're on the receiving end? Now, I think that employee got fired, but as a customer, when I count and there's 7 nuggets,
Uh-huh.
I got an
I
extra
bought so
nugget.
my mother-in-law loves donuts. All right. So yesterday I was going over and I needed to stop and get a couple things. So I got a dozen donuts. This is confession, Dave. I really feel like it's good for my
Should we
heart
save
and
this
my
for
soul.
after the show? That little they can come
You,
back.
you, you can put it in wherever you want.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and end the show here, and then if they're interested, they can keep
It's
watching after the
it's not
credits.
that big a deal. It's not. It may
Well,
not be
see,
worth
now you're
watching, but
ruining it. Now you're ruining it.
yeah. So
I'll cut that part
so
out too.
when I opened the box, there were 12 glazed donuts, yeast donuts, and then on top there was this small little. They called it a baker's extra donut, and it was a 13th donut, but it was a little small glazed donut, and I ate it, and no one knows.
Well, since you didn't wait until the show is over, I'm going to have to cut that and then put it at the end because that
Okay.
is classic. That
Oh,
is classic Kirk. Because you do
it's
stuff
the
like that
reason
all the
people
time.
listen.
You do
I
that all the
do.
time. So just giving some
Oh,
insight.
shoot.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much, everyone, for watching the show, for being a part, listening to it. If you're listening to it on the podcast, you know that you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram. The YouTube channel has all of our videos. You can get the podcast anywhere where you get your podcasts. They're available. Just type in Pondering Passages and it'll pop right up. And
Right there.
download that, take it with you. And you can look at ponderingpassages.com where we have our blog and we have some other stuff. And this particular episode isn't brought to you by anybody because we don't have any sponsors, but we're working on sponsors. So if you would like to donate coffee, to the folks, or tacos or something like that, we are always looking for sponsors. We're happy to list you as a sponsor. In the meantime, we will be back here in about a week. We'll be doing Psalm 18. It gets a little longer than Psalm 17, just saying. But it takes you 2 minutes to read the entire thing and to think about it. So it's not like it's a big burden on your day to
Really?
get some good some good nuggets out of it. All right, folks, have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you back here. Bye. Well, I hope you have a great day.
Well, I do too. So I need to go let the dog out.
Hoop, hoop, hoop.
I let the dog out.
Hoop, hoop, hoop.
I let the dog out. That's what I'm telling you. I did it. I'm confessing.